My best friend wants me to work with my essayer on her wedding and says I need to shrug it off and move on. I have a best friend, we'll call her Tina, who I've known most of my life. We have had a strong friendship from middle school, all the way until we graduated from the same college. We have always been there for each other, and I tell her pretty much everything. Back in junior year of high school, a guy, will call him Rod, had me at a house party. He never apologized for it, and it put me in a deep downward spiral to the point where I almost wanted to drop out in order to never see his face again. I told Tina about it, and she did everything she could to support me. Fast forward to early 2020. Tina and her boyfriend Josh announced that they were getting engaged, and Tina wanted me to be the maid of honor. I was beyond excited to do it. We've always talked about being each other's maids of honor. There was another detail though. Josh had a similar friendship history with his best man, and they thought it would be adorable if the maid of honor and best man worked together on everything, and were their own second package on the wedding day. I guess it was their way of making us feel a little more excited for weddings of our own. I found out that the best man was going to be Rod, and that he and Josh remained best friends after high school. I thought Rod was just in the friend group, but it turns out they were as close as could be. My heart sank, and I simply didn't know how to respond. They expected us to work together and be together the whole wedding process, and that sounded like literal hell. I started thinking about whether Tina never told Josh or whether Josh heard and just didn't care. All I know is that I was having second thoughts about the wedding after that. I texted Tina about my concerns with Rod coming in the most polite way possible, and she sent me this in reply. I know about what happened with you guys back in the day, but Rod seems to be a great guy now. It would just really mean a lot if you could push that memory away for the duration of this. Please just trust me. I didn't know how to respond to this, and luckily the wedding planning process has been on hold since COVID. I haven't responded to her since that text, but now this has really been bugging me. Should I just say no? It would probably break her heart, but I just don't know if I can handle working with my attacker. Help. Update. First of all, thank you so much for the support on my first post. I did not expect it to gain that much attention. I guess a lot has happened since then. I don't know if it's even been a week yet. But this is going to change my life, perhaps for the better. There were hundreds of comments, and I'd thought I'd address a few questions regarding the essay itself. I don't appreciate how some of these were asked, but I'll share anyway for the sake of clarifying things. 1. Was I under the influence? Yes, but I remember vividly saying no. I was drunk enough to have all my strength and mobility wonky, but I didn't black out or anything. The force he used on me didn't seem like that of someone who was drunk. He looked completely sober, but I could be wrong. I remember a couple of times when I was trying to lift myself off the bed, and he would push me back down. I remember the expression on his face. Like you guys said, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's all I'm willing to share for now. The only person who knows all the details is Tina. Is it bad that I wish she knew nothing now? Maybe it would hurt less. 2. Why didn't I report it? Because I saw how that turned out for other girls I knew. I've had a few other friends, not Tina, who have had the same thing happen to them. And nothing came out of reporting it, and it made them feel worse. Just the few comments calling me a liar stung me, so I can't imagine how I would have felt back as my unstable teen self. Not only that, I was scared of what Rod would do if he found out I had reported him. There was just something about him that made me never want to cross him. Reading all your comments, it seems pretty clear that how Tina was treating me was extremely inconsiderate, and I should find a new friend. Although it was a huge slap in the face, I came to my senses and believed that I couldn't be around someone who would do that to me. Some of you said to expose them during vows, but that's just not the kind of person I am, and it might not turn out well. A few of you gave me example texts I could send, which I am extremely thankful for, but I decided to send this. I've had time to think about it, and I just can't be your maid of honor anymore. It's so hurtful that you are telling me to pack up my trauma for who knows how long until your wedding day. I just can't do it. I don't think I will come at all, knowing that he's going to be there. I'm sorry. It's pretty weak, but it's probably the meanest text I've ever sent. An hour later, I got a call from Josh. He asked me what was going on with me and Tina, and she was extremely upset. A part of me snapped, and I said, I don't know what's going on with you making someone who had me the best man. I don't usually blurt things out like that. He was confused, and I repeated myself. He was silent for a few seconds, and then asked if he could come over. I was a little wary of the idea, but I said sure. I know we should be socially distancing, but this really needed to be discussed. He comes to my apartment 40 minutes later, without Tina. I have never hung out with Josh one-on-one before. It was always with Tina. Josh always had a really cute and sweet personality, and I've always approved of him when it came to dating her. He was really only a friendly acquaintance to me, though. We sat down and spoke for over an hour. Tina had told Josh that the reason I wasn't coming to the wedding was that I didn't want to work with Rod because I had a crush on him and thought she was forcing the relationship too much. So basically, she said we had a petty girl fight. My jaw hit the floor, and I was fuming. She had obviously never told Josh what Rod did to me. I shared that Rod had SME back in high school and that Tina knew about it. I asked if he knew too. He said he didn't, but at one point Rod did mention that a few crazy Bess falsely accused him of SA in his senior year. This obviously didn't include me, since I only told Tina and a few family members. Josh believed him at the time, but I guess after hearing me say it, it's starting to dawn on him that his friend was a liar. Here's something that I didn't expect. Josh shared with me that he was SA'd when he was a kid by an older brother of a friend he had. He said that if he was forced to work with his brother on a wedding, he would absolutely refuse. He apologized heavily on behalf of Tina, but I won't forgive unless she says it herself. I know some of you may think Josh is lying, but I believe him. I could see it in Josh's face and body language that the realization really weighed down on him, and I felt bad. In a way, we were both going through a betrayal. I asked if he was okay to go home, and he said yes. He thanked me for telling him and left. I don't know if I'll stay in touch with him, but I was beyond furious with Tina at this point. I was expecting an angry text from her, and sure enough, I got it at like midnight. She went off, saying that I'm going to end up destroying their marriage. How could I do that to her, etc.? I just pressed the block button and went to bed. It was the quickest decision ever made. I'm feeling a little down in the dumps right now, yet slightly relieved. I'm going to try to connect with other friends and try to move on from this. If I'm feeling brave enough, I might try to find these crazy Bess and see if we can make a case against Rod. Knowing that there are other victims makes me feel so guilty that I want to scream. Sorry, it's not too happy of an ending, but I think it might have been more unhappy if I decided to go along with it. Thank you, Reddit. Second story. My slag of a boyfriend cheated on me after I took care of him and had the audacity to say that he cheated because he deserved better. I, female 25, discovered that my ex-boyfriend, male 26, had been cheating on me for 5 months. I was really devastated and felt a lot of rage inside me, especially after buying him a new PlayStation 5, since he wanted one but couldn't afford it. I was saving up a lot of money to buy him the console with some games. We've been dating for 3 years and living together for a year and a half. I immediately kicked him out after his side girl messaged me, apologizing for not knowing that he had a girlfriend. I didn't believe her because I trusted my boyfriend a lot, but she came with receipts. There were a lot of messages where he flirted with her and sent NDS. I was disgusted, really disgusted. The worst part is that when I confronted him, he didn't even try to deny it and called me boring. He insulted me a lot, saying I was no fun and he deserved better. I was really enraged, and for the first time, I slapped him. He was shocked, and so was I, because I was never violent with him and always tried to solve things quietly, but he made my blood boil. I started screaming at him, saying that he doesn't do anything around here and has never paid rent because he's a lazy, jobless piece of SHT who can't even bother looking for a decent job. At one point, I mentioned how he would never get the PS5 that I bought and return it soon to the store. He looked like a deer in headlights. That bastard immediately changed his attitude and acted sorry. He started apologizing and crying, saying he never meant to cheat and promising he would make it up to me. He's a disgusting pig. He never cared for my feelings. He only cared when I mentioned something he wanted, such as hypocrisy. I wasted no time and kicked him out. He's still sending me a lot of texts filled with apologies, and even an ugly photo of him crying. I told him to not waste his time because he wouldn't get the PS5, and we're done, so I blocked him. I won't take the PS5. I already have one. But I remembered that my parents were planning on buying it for my little brother. The plan was going to be them buying the PS5, and I would buy the games for it with an extra PS Store gift card. But it looks like I will give my parents a call and tell them there's a change in our plans for my brother's gift. Relevant comments. Tangled up in blue. Let me guess. When you previously asked him to get a job and contribute to the household, he called you a gold digger. Good for you for not taking his gaslighting and BS any longer. I'm sure you've figured out by now that he was never going to contribute and intended to use you for a free ride while he had his fun. You are so well rid of him. The best Christmas gift you could give yourself, OP. He actually called me controlling. We fought a lot about it, but this was my first time showing a serious reaction to it. Update. Hello everyone. I'm back with an update. First, I wanted to thank all of the people who commented and shared some of their experiences with me. I really appreciate it. Today was amazing. I celebrated Christmas with my family, my parents, and my little brother. My parents cooked the best food, so I ate well after not having an appetite for a few days. It was wonderful. As for my parents' agreement about the gift, we agreed on something. I'll gift the PS5 and games to my brother. My parents bought an Oculus for my brother's new PS5 and other accessories for the console. When the time came for the presents, I was shocked to learn that my brother got me an expensive gift. He got me some makeup from Sephora and a gift card. My parents then informed me that my brother had been saving for my gift since the beginning of the year. I cried. I literally started bawling my eyes out. Then I gave him a big hug, my baby. I thanked him a lot for the gift and said that I loved it. When he opened my parents' present, he was really confused and stated that he doesn't have a PS5 for this Oculus. I told him to open my gift, and when he opened it, he started crying and immediately hugged me. I don't know what came over me, and I started crying with him. I really, really love my brother. He's a sweet little boy and a good-behaved kid. He's 12, BTW. That's why he deserved every gift he got. It was expensive, yes, but it was worth every penny to see him happy. After we all opened our gifts, I helped him set up the PS5 in his room and played some games together. Suddenly, he tells me that he loves me and that I'm the best big sister in the world. For the third time, I started crying, probably because I'm on my period and my hormones are not making it any better. So yeah, there you have it. I had the best Christmas with my family, and seeing my brother so happy was worth the heartbreak I went through. As for my garbage ex, he's still making new accounts on Instagram to apologize. I told him to F off, and I know that he's only apologizing because he wants the PS5, not because he's feeling guilty. I mentioned that I gave it to someone who deserves it way more than he does. He started cursing at me, and I said if he didn't leave me alone, I'd report him to the police for harassment. He stopped after that, and I've never heard from him since. So that's all for the update.